This ain't no pleasure cruise. Full scream ahead. Those are the taglines to one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies, the action horror kaiju comedy extravaganza, Deep Rising. The setup to this movie is a little convoluted at first. There's a super expensive luxury cruise ship called the Argonautica that's just ventured out into the middle of the ocean. Filthy rich entrepreneur Simon Canton, played by character actor Anthony Heald, is happily enjoying his maiden voyage when suddenly the communication system goes out. Then, to make matters worse, some sort of massive creature rams into the boat and eviscerates almost every passenger. Everyone except Canton, a handful of his crew, and Trillian, a thief who snuck onto the ship. Trillian is played by Famke Janssen, who the studio almost turned down because they were afraid she'd be too recognizable after a stint as a Bond girl in GoldenEye. Meanwhile, a ship manned by Captain John Finnegan and his faithful crew, consisting of Joey Tooch Pentucci and his girlfriend Layla, are sailing across the ocean on a job they got from a group of mercenaries. They didn't ask questions before booking the job because, as Finnegan says,
like the sign says, if the cash is there, we do not care.
Things quickly get heated when the mercs, led by the gruff Hanover, start pushing Tooch around, and it's revealed that they brought torpedoes on board. After the ship crashes into a speedboat, they realize that they have bigger problems. See, the mercs had planned to attack the Argonautica as part of an insurance scheme planned by Canton, but once they and Finnegan's group arrive, they find nothing but piles of dead bodies. And now they're going to have to fend off the mysterious deep-sea creatures that keep attacking them. The cast here is pretty fun.
I vote we kill him, then we throw him overboard.
It's not a democracy. Okay, I'll say it one more time for the hearing impaired.
Finnegan is played by Treat Williams, who does a great job as the wry scoundrel captain.
Get me to your boat.
And I can have whatever I want.
Yeah, whatever you want.
Can you get me a cold beer?
Hanover is played by the excellent Wes Studi, who you may recognize from Dances with Wolves or The Last of the Mohicans, and he truly elevates every role that he's in.
The only way to slow him down is to beat him!
What are we gonna beat him?
The mercs are also full of recognizable actors like Cliff Curtis, who's been in almost everything.
Forget about them, we gotta get out of here, there's something down here! Just shut the fuck up!
Trevor Goddard, aka Kano from the 95 Model Combat, and the legendary Jimon Honsu.
I'm feeling a real lack of love here.
If there's anything I can do to make your trip more comfortable, you come to me, okay?
Of course, I have to dedicate a little time here to Kevin J. O'Connor, who plays Tooch. This was his first collaboration with director Stephen Sommers, who would go on to cast him in Van Helsing and The Mummy.
I just want the book, I swear, and your sister. But other than that...
And there's just something goofily endearing about him that perfectly fits into this world. Sommers is incredibly skilled at blending various genres like sci-fi, action, horror, and comedy, making him the perfect guy to handle a giant monster movie filled with goofy one-liners, hallways full of corpses, and tons of explosions. Most importantly, Deep Rising has the Octolus, the giant sea creature that ate most of the passengers and crew. Described in the script as a huge, horrible, mutated, mucus-covered, sucker-faced creature, a giant mutated protoplasm that undulates menacingly towards its victims. Without warning, the creature attacked the cruise ship and its occupants, showing no mercy as it indiscriminately ate everything it could find. Weighing in at over 20 tons, the Octolus had an enormous body which remained in the center of the ship, while its terrifying tentacles explored the rest of the vessel in search for food. Each of its tentacles had a mouth that could be used to consume prey, while its main body contained an even larger mouth and 2 large eyes. It was essentially capable of sensing movement, which allowed it to differentiate between the ship and its tasty inhabitants. Its tentacles were also powerful enough to bend and break metal doors and walls, making no place on the ship safe. The amazing creature design was headed by the iconic Rob Bottin, the special effects creator best known for his work on classics like The Thing and The Fog, as well as multiple Paul Verhoeven films like Total Recall. The main inspiration for the design came after the team watched a National Geographic documentary called Incredible Suckers. The crew essentially saw the vampire squid and marveled at its webbed tentacles and rows of fang-like teeth. While the characters think that they're being terrorized by multiple wormy creatures and successfully kill some of them, the big reveal is that there's actually only one giant beast. There's one scene in particular that always stood out to me, and that's the part where a half-digested mercenary falls out of the Octolus. While most of the computer effects were headed by DreamQuest Images and the famed Industrial Light and Magic, this gory sequence is actually made possible by the digital makeup team at Blur Studios. Originally, the sequence had been farmed out to a different small studio, but they were unable to pull it off. Blur co-founder David Stinnett said, "It was shot as a digital shot from the get-go. We didn't really call it digital makeup, although technically that's what it was. It took 3 of us about 7 weeks to track those 3 shots. It's one of the most memorable parts of the film, and the effects hold up really well." What always surprises me is just how brutal the film is. From the half-digested mercenary falling out of the Octolus to Hanover getting his legs devoured and acidified while he's still alive, Summers clearly makes full use of Deep Rising's R rating. At the end of the movie, after defeating the Octolus, the remaining survivors wind up washing up on an island. The roar of a mighty beast before the credits roll implies that this was also an island filled with more Kaiju, a place not too dissimilar from King Kong's Skull Island. There are actually rumours that this film was going to be an early entry into the Monsterverse, and that raw herd was meant to be Kong himself. Was this supposed to be a backdoor sequel? Was this supposed to kick off a 90s King Kong series? Well, IMDb Trivia claims that there was indeed ideas for a new Kong reboot circulating in Hollywood, which is not surprising considering they have the originality of Goldfish. It's a little difficult to find a solid source other than IMDb for these claims, but one thing is for sure. On the Blu-ray commentary track for Deep Rising, Summers does say that the island is meant to be a nod to Skull Island.
If the cash is there, we do not care. What kind of life philosophy is that, man?
This is just great. Now I got bombs in my basement.
Tragically, Deep Rising bombed at the box office. Part of the reason it flopped has been attributed to its R rating. According to Summers, the studio had initially tried to get him to whittle the movie's content down to a PG-13, but he refused. It's also possible that the marketing team just didn't know how to promote a genre-blending flick like this. Monster horror action comedies, especially those with a considerable budget, tend to have a very difficult time making that money back. Regardless, Deep Rising is a wonderful homage to cheesy monster action movies of the past, and is a must-have to any monster movie collection. With that being said, I'd love to know your thoughts about the film, so please share them in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, support the channel on Patreon, come join our regular streams on Twitch, and be part of the public Film Comics Explained Discord server. Links in the About Me and description below. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
So what you realizing, Mamuli?
That my goal in life before I die is to make love to a woman from every country on earth.
Come to my country, I shoot your ass.